Before I start our program, allow me to first welcome our esteemed guests, Ms. Julia Finn, member for Marylands, the Honourable Anthony D. Adams, MLC, the Honourable Shaukat Musalmani, MLC, Mayor of Canterbury Bankstown, Councillor Karl Asfour, Councillor Ola Hamid, Cumberland Council, Councillor Diane Coleman, Cumberland Council, Councillor Mohammed Hussain from Cumberland Council as well, and Carly Willickson, Labour candidate for East Hills. We also extend our welcomes to the religious leaders, presidents of charities, associations, media, community leaders, groups and individuals, sponsors, and everyone that supported this event. Thank you. The story of the Nippers program spans the ocean, but it travels far beyond their blue surface. It destinations the mind and soul of children born to a land of survival, to build hope where those weak of hearts believe hope is lost. Yet, an endeavor such as this can only continue to grow with the joint efforts of those who believe in the brighter future for those children, people like you. Bent on giving the children of Gaza sun-kissed memories of beach fun while providing them with the chance to learn about life-saving and to enjoy water sports in a fully fledged surf club. Welcome to the fundraising dinner of Gaza Surf Project, where your contribution will support the establishment of an Australian-style life-saving club on Gaza Beach, sending waves of hope from Sydney to Gaza. Please join me first in welcoming our first guest speaker to deliver welcome of country, Uncle David. Uncle David Bill is from Werdigil Elder and the founder of Young Spirit Mentoring Program, who has been empowering youth to take pride to their work and build their self-esteem for the past 25 years. Thank you.
Thank you. A great honour to be here today, this evening. I want to pay my respects to the Mayor, distinguished guest, and a part of the journey of protocol is that when you come into a land of the Aboriginal people, you have to ask permission to come into the land. A little bit of background on me is that my father's Aboriginal, my mum is Irish. I was born and bred in Redfern, and our journey goes a long, long way. It goes to the rivers, especially what the cause is today, from the rivers to the sea, exactly what the Gaza message is, and that's exactly where we come from too as well, is from the rivers. And the three rivers that join here us is the Georges River at the back, the Hawkesbury and the Nepean. Them rivers are so vital in a resource for our people that long before colonisation, this is where we used to trade, on the back of the Georges River in the caves. And a part of that is that's where all of our tribes come and put our handprints and our footprints into this land. 60,000 years. We are honoured here to be here today. We praise the Bundjalung people from the north, the Kambangi people, the Dungutty people. We all go on this journey together. We're coming down now. We pay our respects to the Biripi people of Taree, the Awabakal people of Newcastle, the Wonnarua, the Darkinjung people of Gosford, the 29 clans of the Eora Nation, the Gamaringal, the Wongal, the surrounding areas here that where our tribes are, the Darrick, the Gunungara and the Darwal. We pay our respects to the south is the Waddy Waddy people, the Wandian people, as far as Nowra, the Yuin people, the Black Duck people. We pay our respects to the west, which is the Wiadri people, the Nambria, the Ngunnawal from Canberra, the Kamilaroi, Waywin, and as far as Albury, Yorta Yorta. On behalf of elders past and present, we welcome you here today. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. And now please welcome to stage our most treasured Mayor of Canterbury Bankstown City Council, Mr. Karl Asfour, well known for his strong dedication to supporting the endeavour of our community.
Thank you, Nada. And can I also thank Uncle for the welcome to country, and also wish to acknowledge country and pay my respects to what is past, present and emerging, and of course acknowledge the Julia Finn and Kylie Wilkinson, who's our Labor candidate for East Hills. We wish her all the best in the election. We really need to make East Hills Labor again. And of course Anthony D. Adam, Cameron Murphy, Ola Hamed, Mohammed Hussein and Shaukat Masoumani. So we've got a good Labor contingent here. And I think it's important that it speaks a message to how important the Palestinian issue is to the Labor Party. We are always going to be on the side of Palestine, but we also understand that there are many challenges when we take that position. And this was one of the tasks that and challenges that we had to work through only a few weeks ago, where at Canterbury Bankstown Council, the first council in this country to pass the Sydney Statement on Anti-Palestinianism. Now, I do want to speak on Gaza for a little bit, but I want to talk about the statement just quickly. Obviously, the statement has been born out of the Australian Arab Federation, and I acknowledge Hassan Musa, the secretary of that organisation, who's here, and board members that are here as well, and supporters. The statement, when it was proposed that Council pass the statement, it was suggested to me that we shouldn't do it. There were many people that suggested to me that we should not do this, it'll bring criticism, you'll have the Murdoch News or the Fox News coming after you, the Daily Telegraph and the like. All that could be true. But I had a conversation with Bob Carr, and Bob Carr, as you all know, is a strong person that is strongly in favour of the Palestinian cause and Palestinian rights and what's going on in my homeland, really. And he said, you need to be on the right side of history. And I can tell you all tonight, we are all on the right side of history. And I really do hope other organisations, I really do hope other local councils in New South Wales and in other states and territories really do understand that you should pass it. You should pass this statement. We need to send a message that discrimination should not occur anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's what the statement talks about. That's what the objectives of the statement are. And that's why I think I'm very proud to be the mayor, but I'm very proud to be leading a council that has that, visionary ideals in mind when it makes these decisions. And it was a unanimous vote on the floor of the council. So, it's something that we should all continue to talk about. It's not something that happened and then we just forget about it. It's something we should continue to talk about to people in our community, in the Palestinian community, in the Arabic community, but also to others that aren't in our community. Which leads me to the Gaza project. And it was really, when I first heard about people in the northern beaches of all places, forming a group for Palestine, I was shocked. And I think many of us would be shocked because it's not something you would usually hear. But when I was speaking to Shamekh, he's at the back, he was explaining it to me and how it was formed in 2016 and they really wanted to do something for the Palestinian cause. And I said, are you sure you're talking about the right place? But what I came to understand was that they knew that something had to be done. And they also got together and raised some money and brought 2 Palestinians over from Gaza to the northern beaches and to the North Stein Surf Lifesavin Club. Again, not something that you would expect, but they trained these 2 gentlemen into how to become a lifesaver, how to get their badges or their medals, and how to save lives effectively. Something that's a skill that, you know, we all want, and something that we all want our children to learn. When they get to 2-3 years old, we take them to swimming lessons because we don't want them to drown, especially in our country where we have beaches and rivers and swimming pools everywhere. So the idea was fantastic because you're not only teaching them how to save lives, but you're giving them the capacity and the ability to go back to Gaza, go back to Palestine, and teach other people to save lives. And so it's really wonderful to hear that this is going to happen. I know it's been a long time coming with COVID and everything. It slowed it all down. But to understand that your contribution here tonight, your donation to this important fundraiser will help not only train people to become lifesavers on Gaza Beach, but also for them to save Palestinian lives, for the kids that are swimming and the people that are swimming in Gaza Beach as well. And I think that's a worthy cause. That's why Canterbury Bankstown Council supports this event and supported with the waiving of the room hire for this event, for the theatre tonight. And that's the least we could do. And now I think it's all up to you to not only talk about tonight, talk about what a wonderful program it is, what a wonderful idea it is. And I really got to pay tribute to those that formulated this idea and have now seen it through. I really do appreciate the work that we all do every day to make sure that the voices of Palestinian people and the suffering that they go through is heard loud and clear, because the media certainly doesn't report it. And because it doesn't report it, it's our job to make sure that people do know what is going on and do understand. So congratulations to the organisers. I really do wish you all well. I can't stay, unfortunately. I do have another 2 events tonight, but that's just part of the job. But I do wish you well, and I hope you raise enough money to be able to get as many lifesavers on Gaza Beach as possible and to save as many lives as possible, so the boys and girls of Palestine continue to enjoy their beach, their ocean, and be able to swim in safety, and their parents knowing that, I think is a godsend. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And now please join me in watching a video about the story of Gaza Surf Project and how it all became.
(1939). The rumble of war is low. Sydney's playground indulges in its favourite pastime. Australians never lose their love for the surf. When war took them to a foreign strand, for one glorious day they paused in the ugly business of battle and turned Palestine's beach at Gaza into a second Bondi.
بلادي لك حبي وفؤادي بلادي 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 لك حبي وفؤادي.
And I think what today's proof to me is, I won't say miracles, but things that you think might never happen can happen. And if you put enough effort, and in fact that's it, and to have our two guests from Gaza here, and when the idea was almost 2 years ago, we had the idea we might try to bring them, but all the obstacles, but we went step by step, and how wonderful it is that we have them here.
We're really excited to be working on this project. We think it's a really great project.
Yeah.
All the board is very supportive of what we're going to do in January, and teaching you about surf life saving and teaching you about nippers. And so hopefully we can make a little bit of a difference in terms of where you come from, and make people's lives better.
Colin from the ANC from South Africa and I were old mates from way back, from the anti-apartheid movement. And we ran into each other in Manly. I hadn't been here for long. And we thought, what can we do? We've fixed South Africa, now we should fix Palestine. So anyway, we just formed this little group, and we thought we'd just lobby politicians and do a few things like that. But then we met Shamik, and these are his friends from Gaza, and he's from Gaza, but he's a student here, he's a citizen now. And it was Shamik's idea to bring Mohammed and Hassan to Sydney. So then we have been working on that, and then by a miracle we found Christine. It took 5 years.
5 years?
We started 5 years ago, yes.
And how did it feel when you finally found out they had the visa and they were on the
Well,
board?
of course, last year Mohammed didn't get a visa, and so we thought maybe they'd never be able to come, because it's no use having Hassan by himself. And so, this year, by another miracle, they got the visas, both of them. And this was amazing too. It's mushma'ul. Doesn't that mean amazing in Arabic?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, it means it's incredible.
Something like that, yes.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. So that's the story, and it's all happening, and it's just wonderful. I'm so happy.
Well, from Gaza to Sydney's beaches, two men have travelled all the way to Australia to learn some new life-saving skills. They're spending the month training and observing one of Australia's most well-known surf safety programs.
ومن ناحية أخرى يعني سنحاول نقل ثقافة السيرف لايف سيفينج من أستراليا، وعلى نفس الشاكلة الأسترالية إلى فلسطين.
There is no sport facilities, theater or cinema, and we want people to give them opportunity to swim in the beach with fun.
وبعتمد بالأحرى على زرع الفكرة داخل الأطفال الأنقاذ، على أساس أنهم يكون في عندهم خبرة في البيئة البحرية.
along with all the surf life-saving, more importantly, I think we've developed lifelong friends. We have some new fantastic members of North Stain, and even though you're not going to be on our beach, you're still with us in spirit from the beach in Gaza. And we have now a new sister organization, the Gaza Beach Surf Lifesaving. They also did some very, very intense training, and Hassan obtained his bronze medallion and Mo obtained his time they did it in because they took an intense course in a different language is really super awesome achievement, a real credit to their skills that they already came with, and a real credit to their determination. So well done.
نفس الوقت بنوعدكم انه النتائج اللي تنتظروها من المشروع انه تشوفوها بعينيكم في غزة. اول سيرفينج كلاب في غزة.
We hope to implement this plan, and you will see surfing club in Gaza after we come back. Yes.
واليوم انبسطنا كتير وتعرفنا على أولاد جديد وشو يعني تفرجنا ولعبنا وسوينا وكيفنا وشفنا ألعاب جديدة وتعلمنا أشياء جديدة. يكون في غزة نادي للسيرف زي في أستراليا.
اليوم كان كتير حلو وتعرفنا على بنات جديدة وأنا كان نفسي إنه كل يوم نيجي ونلعب زي هيك. يا رب يكون دايما زي هيك كتير حلو.
نفسي إنه يكون في برنامج زي هذا بغزة عشان كل يوم أشارك فيه.
انبسطنا كتير يا ريت يكون يعيد مرة تانية هذا اليوم.
اليوم كان حلو وكان نفسي نعمل السيرفينج كمان مرة وتعلمنا أشياء جديدة ولعبنا ألعاب جديدة ونفسي يكون نرجع هذا اليوم كمان مرة. كيف أنزل المية وكيف أسبح وكيف أعمل السيرفينج.
تعلمنا كيف نسبح ندخل جوا البحر.
حسيت حالي بدي شيل الرمل من الشوز اللي إلي. حسيت حالي هونيك معهم كمان. They're very lucky. Okay, we continue with our program. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Julia Finn, Member of Parliament, Shadow Minister of Sports and Youth, and a tireless advocate for our community, ensuring we always get our fair share.
Thank you very much, Nada. And thank you, Uncle, for the welcome to country earlier this evening. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and pay respect to their elders, past, present and emerging. This was, is and always will be Aboriginal land. I'd also like to briefly acknowledge my parliamentary colleagues, Shiket Musselman and Anthony Diadam, as well as the candidate for East Hills, Kylie Wilkinson, and councillors Mohammed Hussain and Ola Hamid. And of course, before we had the fantastic Mayor of Canterbury Bankstown, Carlos Bohr. As most of you know, in addition to being the Shadow Minister for Sport, I'm the co-chair of the Parliamentary Friends of Palestine in the New South Wales Parliament. So when a group of Palestinian activists from all over Sydney, including members of the Northern Beaches committee, came to see me to talk to me about this project, I was incredibly excited. So often we talk about Palestine in terms that are very, very confrontational. We talk about apartheid and the continuing siege on Gaza and the effect that has on everyone's lives. And a lot of people put up walls and they don't want to listen. But I think something that's very different about this project is it actually brings a little bit of Australia to Gaza. And everyone in this room knows that Gaza is the most overcrowded place in the world. It's often referred to as the world's largest open-air prison. And if we can do something to make the everyday lives of people in Gaza, particularly kids, a a little bit better, if we can give them a little bit more space by making them safe when they go swimming and making what is, the space they occupy on a daily basis as they go about their business just that little bit bigger, because they can actually go out into the Mediterranean and go swimming safely. If we can bring a little bit of joy to them, that is a really important thing, because their lives are just so difficult and they're constantly facing, they're either living in fear or absolutely running for their lives when their buildings are being bombed. It's a constant part of their daily life, and it's so constrained and so difficult. They don't have access to even to go and visit friends and relatives in the West Bank. We think of life in the West Bank as being very, very difficult, but it's a lot more difficult in Gaza. So this is, and we saw it in the kids in the video, this is so important because it actually can bring them joy and can bring them that little bit more freedom by making it safe for them to swim. And, we know most of us in this room actually live in Western Sydney. Like, we'll travel for an hour and a half, drive around for half an hour trying to find somewhere to park at the beach. So we can understand how important it is for people who live in Gaza and who can't really travel anywhere, but they can go to the beach to be able to make the most of the beach. So I think it's a really very special project, and I want to congratulate you on everything you've done so far, and I certainly hope tonight is a big success and we can train more lifesavers, get the Lifesaving Club up and running, expand the Nippers program, and just make life a little bit better for people in Gaza. But also, by telling this story, we're getting out there a message when we're so often, the Palestinian community or people living in Gaza are so demonised. Actually, they're just like us. They're people who want to go to the beach. They want to go to the beach and go swimming safely, and just to live a normal life, as we do here, to enjoy the freedoms we enjoy. And I think this is just going to make that just that little bit easier for people living in Gaza, but also it sends such a positive message and such a relatable message to Australians. So thank you for everything you've been doing, and I wish you the best for tonight's fundraiser.
Thank you. And now we have the captain of North Stain Surf Life Saving Club, who trained Mohammed Saleh and Hassan Al-Habil that you saw in the video for their bronze and SRC accreditation, laying the foundation for the establishment of the Gaza Surf project. Please welcome him to stage, Mr. Jack Watt.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you to the Northern Beaches Committee for Palestine for inviting me here this evening to speak a little bit about North Stain's involvement with this amazing project and a little bit about my involvement in training Mo and Hassan. My name is Jack Watt. I'm the club captain at North Stain Surf Life Saving Club. Chris, the president that you would have seen in the video, she's away for work at the moment, so she does send her apologies. North Stain is the oldest surf life saving club in Australia. We hold very dear our values of strong communities and lifelong education. So when we were approached in 2018 to host Mo and Hassan and share with them what surf life saving in Australia means to us and what it can bring communities, we jumped at the opportunity. To get the guys to Australia was a 5-year process, and we jumped in quite late on in that journey. However, we were so thrilled to see when in January 2020 they joined us in Manly, and we could share with them and help them learn about our Nippers program, our life-saving practices, and what a surf life-saving club in Australia can look like. During the month of January, Mo and Hassan were embraced by our community and our surf life-saving membership and participated in all aspects of the club, whether that be on patrols, understanding what our Nippers program, the way the admin ran, social events. They helped on the barbecue, I believe, a couple of times, which is something that we struggle with on the best of occasions, to have people jump on. And, we helped them gain CPR and first aid skills. They supported Nippers program and almost every weekend. And I would also like to note they did become minor celebrities. I've never seen so much media at a surf club in my whole life. I was quite fortunate to spend quite a lot of time with Mo and Hassan over the month, as I did train the boys in their bronze and SRC. To this day, delivering the quite technical training, which is the bronze medallion and surf rescue certificate, to Hassan, who was excellent in the water and an excellent lifeguard, however couldn't speak English all that well, and I can't speak any Arabic, and training Mo up, who could communicate with me, but hadn't been in the ocean all that much, so wasn't the best swimmer I've ever seen. Will be up there with the most challenging, but more importantly, the most rewarding experiences of my life. And to see them in a matter of weeks, as Chris alluded to in the video, pass their assessment in flying colours to such positive feedback from their assessors, and they're quite critical, was absolutely inspiring for a young man like myself. I have so many fond memories from that month, and I would just like to share a couple. The first one is when I was trying to teach the boys the stages of heat exhaustion, and this was the day I learnt that English does not translate very well to any other language, especially Arabic. So I think it took us maybe a couple of hours and a couple of goes. We tried it once, went away. I would tell Mo something, try and demonstrate it quite physically so Hassan could somewhat follow what I was trying to say. Mo would then translate, Hassan would try and gather it, and then we'd learn whatever I was explaining was the worst way to explain it possible. So we do that cycle about 3 or 4 or 5 times. The second one is a little bit cliche, but it is of the first time I went to lunch with the boys. And it was the middle of the day, and it was just while we were doing the first aid training, and it was quite early on in the piece. And it was the day I learned about their home life, about what inspired them to engage in this project, come to Australia, pursue and be so determined to keep knocking down the barriers that were set up for them. You saw every day in training, they'd be learning new stuff, being, confronted with new challenges that they'd never seen before, as is the Australian surf and ocean environment on Manly. And it was, again, I just go back to the fact that it was one of the most rewarding and unforgettable experiences of my life. So after Mo and Hassan left, the whole club was looking forward to seeing the Nippers program come to life on the Gaza Strip in mid-2020, and we went to branch awards at the end of our season, and we won the community awards for our involvement in the project at both our branch and state levels. So there was really good, positive excitement. Every board meeting, Chris, when's Mo and Hassan going to send a video of them doing the Nippers program back home? What's going on? And unfortunately, COVID did, create a bit of a suspension to the project. However, when we got the video earlier this year, it was incredibly exciting, and I remember there was an influx of comments from everyone in the club, whether they'd be supporting the project for a long time or just met the boys once or twice down at the clubhouse. So I'd just like to say North Stain remain quite involved in supporting the Gaza Surf project, and we're consistent, and we're consistently in part of the Northern Beaches Friends for Palestine. We're currently applying for a grant through the Council of Arab-Australia Relations to support the project further and provide funding for venue and food costs, the translation of training materials into Arabic, something that I think is quite pertinent from my personal experiences with Mohammed Hassan, as well as brochures and information sessions in Australia to promote the project. North Stain Surf Life Saving Club thanks all involved in the Gaza Surf project for allowing us to connect with communities, make new friends, and share our knowledge and culture with Mohammed Hassan and help us positively impact lives on the other side of the world. We look forward to continuing our support and the growth of our sister organisation in Palestine, the Gaza Beach Surf Life Saving Club. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. We look forward to. I should have asked you to speak in Arabic since you've got the experience of. And I wonder the words that you learned with the boys, were they the good words, or we'll check that later. Okay, and now for some art from our special advocate of the Palestinian cause, Ms. Layla Setlewi, a social worker and a poet who was granted the Community New South Wales Service Award. Ms. Layla? Where is she, sorry? Yep. I was actually telling Ms. Layla that I did a little search before I put a few words, and there's a lot to learn and a lot of beautiful work that she's going to share some with us today. So we look forward. Kilna sama.
Good evening, everybody. First, allow me to apologize for my voice. I've lost it and I'll do my best. I wrote a little poem for this event. As if there were not enough adverse factors for the children of Gaza to die. As if all those engines of wars were not enough for their mothers to cry. Need them also be left to die in the waters, thought out loud, our own Australian nippers. And as they rode their northern beaches' waves, they reacted as only do the braves, by outstretching a helping hand to reach out at far, far away land. So let us from here tonight join in the nippers' beat by adding each a little stone to build a Gaza Surf Club and a life-saving plan, to save as many children's lives as man can. Thank you to the nippers. Thank you, Australia. Thank you to the Northern Beaches Committee for Palestine and the Sydney Gaza Group. And thank you all for being here.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And now, the Honorable Shaukat Muslimani. Please join hands in welcoming the Honourable Shaukat Muslimani, one of the strongest human rights advocates who played a key role in New South Wales and National Labour Conference that have over the years called on Labour in government to recognise the state of Palestine and much more. What can we say? غني عن تعريف. أهلا وسهلا.
Well, thank you so much, Nada Miski. She was a bit nervous earlier on, and she wasn't really excited to be the MC, but she's done an excellent job, and congratulations to Nada Miski on a wonderful job. Look, there's so much to speak about, but I won't speak so much because there are so many other speakers here tonight. I want to, first of all, recognise the traditional owners of this land and pay our respects to their elders, past and present, and recognise all the councillors that are here tonight. But in particular, I want to recognise my parliamentary colleagues, Anthony Diadam and Julia Finn. Julia Finn has already spoken about the support that she provides to the issue of Palestine in New South Wales Parliament in the lower house. But we have a new engine in the upper house, Anthony Diadam. Anthony Diadam really is an articulate, powerful speaker, a real ally for us in the upper house. And Anthony has already felt the wrath of the Israel lobby in recent times for speaking out in the upper house. And so these are the people that you want to represent you in Parliament. You don't want people in the Parliament who are fearful to speak out. I always say, if you want to be in Parliament and take a position, well, you take that position, but you need to speak out. You need to represent the people that voted you in. You need to not be fearful of receiving criticism, because otherwise, if you are fearful for receiving criticism, then leave the chair and let somebody else stand up and be able to speak. Having said that, it's a daunting exercise. It's very, very tough because you're not only speaking in a house full of very articulate and ideologically motivated members of the House, but the various forces that are within and without and outside of the Parliament that can be lethal in the way that they can attack you. I mean, I've spoken on many occasions where even before I concluded my speech, we would get telephone calls from certain journalists or certain people ready and prepared to attack. And it's been 10 years for me in the upper house, or 11 years, and not one day goes past without being on the receiving end of the various media outlets who speak from a particular narrative. They don't see Palestinians as people of right, who have rights to their land. They don't see that. It's an odd thing when you're sitting in the House and you're listening to delegates or members of the upper house who have just been on an Israel lobby visitation, and they come back and tell you about how great Israel is, how democratic Israel is, how wonderful Israel is, but don't even say, and this is unfortunate, sometimes even our own Labor people, and you sit there in shock that these Labor members also have just been to Palestine, occupied Palestine in Israel, and don't even mention the word Palestine. I mean, it was just mind-boggling. But that's the nature of the House at the moment, until we have people like Anthony Diadam and others speaking out in Parliament to be able to raise that bit of voice for justice for the Palestinian people. So I want to congratulate the committee for Northern Beaches for Palestine. It's fantastic. When I heard about it, it's, I mean, sometimes you try an idea and it works, and other times it doesn't. But at least you try. And Shamikh and the committee must be congratulated. It's a fantastic achievement to be able to get 2 Palestinians from Gaza. We know how difficult it is just to get 2 Palestinians into hospital to receive medical aid. It's a tough gig. But clearly, Shamikh and the committee were dedicated to ensuring, and as we heard earlier, to ensuring that the 2 Palestinians did come and did work with the Northern Beaches Lifesaving Club to be able to go back to Palestine, Gaza, and teach those kids. And I had prepared a speech. I've got it here, but I won't read it out. But, you know, sometimes you don't want to be political with these events, but you can't not be when you see the destruction, the daily imprisonment, and the daily horrors imposed and that occur on the Palestinians. That 7-year-old that had a heart attack recently because of the usual Israeli door knock at 2 a.m. in the mornings or 3 a.m. Looking for kids throwing rocks at Israeli soldiers. I mean, these events happen on a daily basis, and life is a misery for them. It is, and it's actual fact, it is the world's biggest open-air prison. I mean, 16 years or more, almost 2 decades of suffering for these Palestinian people. And yet, in Australia, we are a democracy that's supposed to represent and argue for human rights, as we do wherever it may be, with the Rohingyas or with anywhere around the world. But yet, we turn a blind eye to the Palestinian people. So it is important that projects like this succeed, and particularly because it is from the grassroots. It is from our Australian members of our Australian communities that have come together to make this a success. So I want to wish the club, Shamikh, and all behind this project every success. Whatever we can do, I'm here to help, whatever I can do. But certainly for tonight, every cent will go a long way helping those kids have a window of enjoyment on those beautiful beaches of Gaza. So thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you, dear sir, for the continuous support. Always. ومتعلم منك دايما. ليك لابسة كحلي مثلك كمان أنا اليوم. Okay, please welcome Mr. Paul Keaton, the branch secretary of Sydney MUA, representing the union, which is known for its long history of solidarity with the global struggle for justice and equality.
Thank you very much. And firstly, I will like to also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we meet here today, Uncle, and pay my respects to your elders, both past, present and emerging, and any comrades that are of Indigenous First Nations descent here too. This land was never ceded, it's stolen land. And as I say to our members, as a maritime worker, as a trade union leader in this country, I say there will be no justice for the working class until justice is first served for our First Nations peoples. I want to start with firstly congratulating the organisers and the Surf Club and all the people that have been involved in this wonderful event, because it's about community. And it's about, from a working class perspective, it's about solidarity. And there is nothing more dignified than that. as a maritime worker, we understand what community is about. Our union this year commemorates 150 years of our union here in Australia. Here in Sydney, down at the Hungry Mile, wharfies, waterside workers, dock workers, I'm a wharfie, first got organised here to build a better life, to build dignity for themselves, for each other, and for their communities. And that's what this is about. It's about solidarity, it's about community, and it's about bringing about changes within our own communities for the betterment of our people. But I can't get up here and not talk about the politics and the struggles of the Palestinian peoples. I have here today 3 of our members, 3 rank and file members of the union. 2 of our comrades have been in Palestine through our connections with the International Transport Workers Federation. And in Palestine, the General Union of Transport Workers, which we are connected very deeply with. 2 of our comrades here today have visited Palestine, seen firsthand the brutality, firsthand what an apartheid state that Israel has imposed on the people of Palestine, and brought back with that a consciousness and understanding that we can't just sit back and allow this to happen, but we must act. We must act internationally as well as act locally. And that's why this is a wonderful initiative. The MUA is fully supportive because clubs of this nature, we know here in Australia, born out of community, born out of building safety within our community when we enjoy the beaches and build a bit of happiness and dignity for each other and our families. And over those generations, they built these wonderful working class and community institutions like the surf clubs. And why shouldn't that go across the world? Why shouldn't working class people, like everyone here today, build that solidarity, that internationalism and community to break down and to stand up for what we all truly believe, and that is that all peoples have the right to self-determination. All peoples have the right for that dignity of life that we say in this country we believe in. There's only one real flag here on either side of me that represents the true nature of the right of peoples. And it's these 2 flags that also, in solidarity, I see every time I go down to a rally, very broad political rallies and rallies fighting for workers and community, where I'll see comrades from our Indigenous communities, leaders and elders and activists, alongside Palestinian leaders and activists. And that's what real community is about. That's why the MUA will fully support in whatever way we can, and I congratulate Shamik and all the organisers that have brought this to where it is at this stage. It is a grassroots, organising platform. And it's a platform where then we can have a voice collectively to say around the horrors and the indignation of colonialism and imperialism that has been a scourge for working class people across the world. Palestine will not see justice until that justice is served on their right to self-determination. Like our First Nations peoples. And it's with great pride and on behalf of our members our executive, Sydney Branch executive, our staff and our rank and file, that we stand here together with all of you. I'm from the West. I'm a Westie, and I'm proud of being a Westie. We have this wonderful diversity of community. And it's in that community we build our solidarity. And this initiative is going to work across oceans. It's a wonderful, it's a marvellous initiative. We know as maritime workers what that's about. On my way here tonight, I was on the phone to comrades in the UK, dockers, and also in Spain. 2 weeks ago, we were hooked up in Zoom meetings with comrades from Pakistan all the way through to Indonesia and Jakarta. It's that solidarity. We understand what that's about because we fight systems that attack our right to organise, attack our right to build dignity for ourselves, our members and our communities. And it's that maritime community that we understand in this building of this wonderful initiative, surf lifesaving clubs. You know, I mean, what's more pure in its purpose? That when we have our time with our families, we go down to the beach. And why can't the kids, we just watch that, why can't the kids of Gaza and their parents and their aunties, their uncles, their grandmothers, their grandfathers go down there and enjoy life like everyone else and build their own community in that, have the ability to go home the way they arrived with the safety that surf life clubs and the culture of it provide. So it's in that culture of community and that initiative of solidarity that we can withstand and take on anyone, any system, any state. But it's important as an official of the MUA, when I get up here and speak with workers and communities, we talk about what we stand for. The MUA is strong in its position that we stand with the peoples of Palestine until their right to self-determination and justice is delivered. We oppose the Israeli apartheid state. We stand strong in that position and in our conviction. And we build the solidarity that workers do build in struggle, because it is a great struggle, a struggle that the MUA will be here, but also a solidarity that we will be with the Palestinian peoples. This surf club, this surf lifesaving club, wonderful initiative. We are very happy to be a part of it, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now we've got Professor Jake Lynch. Professor Jake is the director of the Centre for Peace and Conflict Studies in the University of Sydney and a prominent figure known for his principled stand in supporting Palestine rights to this day.
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. Let me also begin by associating myself with the respect that we've been paying to the First Nations people who are the traditional owners of this land that was never ceded. Offer my tribute to their leaders, past, present, and emerging, and my solidarity with your struggles for justice. Now, what a great image that was to see those nippers on Gaza Beach. An image of joy and respite, of course, for them in their situation, and an image of success. And like any success at a community level, it's the work of many hands, and it would be invidious to pick out any one person. But I'm going to do that anyway, because I would like to pay tribute to Shamik Badra. I first met Shamik when he came over to join us as a student in our centre in mid-2014. And he immediately had to face the ordeal of trying to combine settling in Australia, concentrating on a new field of study, with hearing daily news from the attack by the Israeli occupation force on his home and the homes of his friends and family in Gaza. But it was with enormous fortitude that Shamik buckled down to his studies, excelled in his degree, but of course he was not content merely to be a student. If I can reach for an appropriate metaphor in the circumstances, he was determined to make waves. And he did that by taking the ideas of the Master of Peace and Conflict Studies degree and feeding them back in to the struggle and to his comrades back in Gaza, back in Palestine, but also by engaging with the community here in Australia and supplying his energy and his driving force behind the project that we are here to celebrate this evening. Now, Shamik joined us at a pivotal point in the history of our centre because at that time we were in the final stages of a court case in Australia's federal court to defend the right to withhold cooperation from institutional links with Israeli higher education. That is to enact the academic boycott of Israel as called for by the PACB call issued by Palestinian civil society some years earlier. We were taken to court by an organisation called Shurat Hadin, and Shurat Hadin was later unmasked by the WikiLeaks cables from US embassies around the world as an arm's-length attack dog for the Israeli security state. But many of you will know the story already. I'm happy to report that with the strength from the solidarity and support of thousands of people of goodwill across Australia who chipped into the Legal Defence Fund, we did win that case. And moreover, I think we still hold the title as the only party to any dispute that's ever successfully got a court to order Shurat Hadin to pay out any money. But not only that, but at that time we were in a building, part of Sydney University, called the Mackey Building, which was one of these kind of really grungy 1970s kind of buildings. You know, there was large gaps between the window frames and under the doors, etc. But it did lend itself to fairly clandestine activities. And some of the plotting behind the scenes that took place within those walls included some of the first meetings under the leadership of Bob Carr, who's been referred to, leading up to the change in the policy of Australian Labor in favour of the recognition of a Palestinian state. So that policy, to refresh your memory, has now been affirmed by two policy-making conferences, that the recognition of Palestine will be, and I quote, an important priority for the next Labour government. How agreeable it is to now feel it's the present Labour government. And it's very welcome to see such a strong contingent, of course, from the party here this evening. And we're all looking forward to the moment of that recognition. It'll be in the purview of the Foreign Minister, Penny Wong, how sure-footed she has been in dealing with the crisis in the Pacific, which was an unwanted bequest from the coalition government that came before. Let's hope she also recognises that there is a crisis in Palestine. In that crisis, many indicators are going in the wrong direction. We've heard about some of them this evening, but one that is going in the right direction is surf lifesaving on Gaza Beach. So with that, I'll leave you to the rest of your evening. Thank you for coming. Please support the initiative, and all the best to
you. Thank you, sir. And now, we've got the coordinator of this event, Mr. Shamikh Badra. I want you to give the biggest clap ever because لحظة ما خلصت. Okay, so Shamikh is, he's the coordinator of this event, and he's a human rights activist. He's already holding a master's degree in peace and conflict studies from the University of Sydney, and currently pursuing a Doctor of Philosophy at the University of Wollongong. All the best. His thesis is titled Palestine Diplomatic Resistance, a Political Historical Study. Shamikh is a great person, knowing him closely, and he brought us all here, so I'll leave you with him. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Northern Beaches of Palestine and Gaza Group, I'd like to thank you so much for coming and supporting this project. We initiated this project because the children of the Gaza Strip continue to bear the brunt of Israeli ongoing aggression. In Gaza, a tiny coastal territory just 25 miles long and at most 7 miles wide, enclosed by walls and fence, there is no escape for the children from terrifying sound of explosions and fear. For children in their early teens, this is the fourth war they have lived through. Those who are in their mid-teens have lived their entire lives under the Israeli blockade with restrictions on movement and military aircraft. The war on Gaza in 2009 went on for 3 weeks, ending with around 1,400 Palestinians, including 3 children dead. The next attack came in 2012. It lasted a week, ending with 174 Palestinians, including 33 children dead, according to the United Nations reports. 2 years later, the third aggression ended with more than 2,000 Palestinians, including almost 500 children dead. About 1,000 children sustained injury resulting in permanent disability, according to Defense of Children International. Gaza is hell on earth for children. Those are the words of Secretary General of United Nations, Antonio Guterres. Ladies and gentlemen, our project has 4 messages. For that, we want to contribute to bring hope to the children in Gaza, wishing the children in Palestine to see their dreams come true. I want also to make a brief mention for late comrade Colin Sombadu. He helped to build the anti-apartheid movement in Australia. He and Caroline contributed in founding the Northern Beaches Committee for Palestine Together. Unfortunately, he died before he could witness the birth of Gaza Surf Club, and we much regret that he is not with us this evening. I don't like to talk so much because already we summarize all the stages of the project, because I want also tonight just to thank you, and I'd like to thank my friends and comrades in Gaza Group who have organized this event, especially Louisa Romanos, Nada Miski, Rafah Hajjaj, Sana Abu Khel, Rand Al-Khatib, Wafa Juha, Dr. Imad Burro, Silvana Tawuk, Qasim Shalabi, and Peter Gilan, and Abdul Qadir Qaranoh, who we hope to get well soon. I also want to thank the Coalition of Justice and Peace in Palestine, representative of Australian clubs, speakers, member of parliaments, Arab and Palestinians organization, the mayor of Bankstown, and SBS also Arabic in their media coverage, and everyone contributed in this project. Thank you so much. And yeah, sorry, I forgot my friend also Mustafa Hamid, who contributed in this project so much. Thank you. And Salih Sakaf also. Sorry, I will forget a lot of people because a lot of people supported this project. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Shamir. Okay, and now are we ready to move a bit? I think we are. We are ready to enjoy the steering dance of the Palestinian Dabki performed by the amazing Shadi and his group, فرقة بلادنا للفلكلور الشعبي.
فلسطين محلى